Assalamualaikum and very good day everyone. Welcome back to our subject ECLV4123 Play and Learning in Early Childhood Education. For this week, we will be looking at Unit 2 which is Play-Based Learning Approaches by looking at three approaches which is Montessori, Reggio Emilia and also Waldorf. Alright, so we'll start with Montessori approach. Okay, so let's talk about Montessori, Maria Montessori. Okay, so she is a very, very remarkable figure in early childhood education, or in education specifically. She was born on August 31st, 1870, in Italy. Okay, she was not only an educator but also a physician. So her unique perspective as a doctor greatly influenced her approach to education, which was groundbreaking during that time. So Montessori work focus on the idea that children are naturally eager to learn. Okay, so she believed that given the right environment, children will guide themselves in the educational journey. So this approach was revolutionary because it shifted the focus from traditional teaching method to a more child-centered approach. Okay, so, Montessori teaching method is truly fascinating. We cannot deny it. Okay, so let's look at the unique role of the teacher within this approach lah. Okay, so as a teacher using this method, this approach, a teacher will serve as primarily guide lah. Okay, so teacher will be the primary guide. So they will observe. Okay, the classroom. Okay, they will observe the classroom closely and also work to remove any barriers to learning. So this approach will allow our children to explore and learn at their own pace. But typically, educators will also demonstrate how to engage with all of the materials. Okay, so this method emphasize on understanding how children will grow and learn, which is very important in the Montessori philosophy. So this method was developed in the early 20th century. Okay, so this method also grounded in the belief that every child has an internal guide for self-directed development. Okay, whereby it empowers the children to take charge of their own learning journey. Okay, so these are some example of Montessori didactic apparatus which is available in the market. Each of these has its own purposes, okay, and also ways of using it. All right, so in Montessori schools, usually children are introduced with the unique educational tools, which we known as didactic apparatus, as what we've seen in the previous slide. Okay, so these aren't just ordinary materials. Okay, they are designed to transform the learning into tactile and also engaging experiences. Okay, so imagine a card with sandpaper letters attached or colorful alphabets card that come in various sizes. Okay, so these materials invite the children to explore and learn through touch and size. There is even a series of card with sandpapers for sensory engagement and large card for teaching numbers beyond 10 lah. So additionally, small sticks for counting and drawing are incorporated to build foundation skills. All right, so this Montessori method usually will employ a simple to complex approach, starting with a basic skill and progressing to more advanced concept. Okay, so this hands-on sensory based learning not only making the education enjoyable but also effective, which nurturing a child natural curiosity and fostering a love for their learning. Okay, so looking at the contribution of the Montessori method, okay, basically it has truly transformed the educational landscape with some, of course, with some remarkable contribution lah. Okay, one of the key highlight is the creation of the children's house. Okay, whereby this environment is specially designed to foster outdoor education, allowing children to explore and learn independently. So, Dr. Montessori, Maria Montessori, identified that children have an innate needs and tendency in doing something. So, when these are acknowledged, children can develop rapidly and thrive. So, this emphasis on understanding and meeting these needs is fundamental to the Montessori approach. Another groundbreaking discovery was how effectively young children learn through their senses. Okay, so Montessori creation of the apparatus, the didactic apparatus, was very, very important because this sensory material is what we are using today. Okay, it's still widely used today, supporting the children kinesthetic training and also sensory development in children, especially in the preschool age. Okay. So these are the principle of Montessori method, whereby we need to acknowledge, okay, we need to be aware of this principle when we want to teach children using the Montessori method. All right. So the first one is principle of development from within, whereby this highlight the belief that children naturally will have the potential for growth and learning. Okay, so it's about nurturing them. Okay, nurturing what's already inside them. Okay, and then the next one is the principle of independence and freedom, which is very, very important. So in Montessori, they empowers children to make choices, okay, fostering for their self independence, self reliance, and also for personal growth. We give them the autonomy to do things that they want, okay. And then the next one is principle of instinctive learning. Okay, children will learn naturally. Okay, because we know children are naturally curious, and they learn best through exploration and discovery. So another key principle is the principle of no rewarding and non punishing. Okay, so in Montessori education, it focuses on self motivation, okay, rather than external reward or punishment. Means that they will do because they wanted to do, not by external factors. And then the principle of a sense training, whereby this emphasize learning through the senses. Okay, learning through senses, where we know these are the foundation to the Montessori approach. And then lastly, the principle of outdoor education. So this principle is about children learning at their own pace, okay, guided by their own interests and also abilities. Okay. All right. Now let's continue by exploring the core principle of Montessori method. Okay, by focusing to these three elements. Okay, so we have respect for the child, the absorbent mind, and also sensitive periods. Okay, so first, the principle of respect for the child. So in Montessori philosophy, it deeply respects children by honoring their choices and allowing them to learn at their own pace. Okay, so this respect is foundation, means that the very basic that we need to acknowledge, okay, as it builds a supportive environment where children will feel valued, okay, and motivated to explore. Okay, next let's discuss the absorbent mind. So, this element of absorbent mind, okay, basically it highlights the child extraordinary ability to absorb information. Okay, so where do they absorb this information from? Okay, from their surroundings. So during early years, children naturally and effortlessly will take the culture and environment, okay, setting the very stage for their cognitive and emotional growth. Okay, and then finally we have the sensitive period. Okay, so sensitive periods are the times when children are particularly receptive to learning specific skills. Okay, so these sensitive periods, okay, are marked by intense focus and repetition, whereby it will enable a significant development strides. Okay, so recognizing and nurturing this period can lead to profound learning experiences. Okay, so Montessori education, okay, it revolves around individualized learning. Okay, so the beauty of Montessori is in its personalized approach. So Montessori focus on each child stage of development, interests, and needs. Okay, as they are very forefront. Okay, so the teachers, the educators will match or tailor their lesson to match each child academic progress. Okay, offering one-to-one instruction. Okay, using the Montessori materials to track and support the children growth. Okay, on top of that, okay, the freedom of movement and choices. Okay, we know that in Montessori give the children the autonomy, okay, to choose their tasks, okay, whereby it will promote for active and self-paced learning. Okay, so this both hands-on and discovery driven. Okay, whereby this freedom, okay, this freedom will lead to a genuine engagement with the material that has been provided. Okay, moving on to intrinsic motivation. Okay, so in Montessori, as I mentioned just now, okay, learning it's should be intrinsic. Okay, learning itself, it's their own reward, but not come from the external reward. Okay, so there will be no gold stars, nor no tangible reward. Okay, so it's purely just satisfaction from completing the task itself. So this will foster a deep sense of accomplishment and intrinsic motivation in every child. All right, so lastly, the prepared environment, which is very very important, because we know environment is the third teacher for children. So it's a thoughtfully organized space that encourage for meaningful engagement. So everything will has a purpose, promoting a logical thinking and allowing children to work independently at their own pace. Okay, so this organized atmosphere is what we call order in the environment and mind. Okay, and then independence. Okay, by nurturing independence, okay, Montessori education usually aims to develop learners who are not only self-reliant but also confident in their ability to teach themselves, because this independence is what truly prepares them for future challenges. All right. So on top of that, okay, in Montessori settings, prepared environment, again, very, very important. It's not just about the physical space, but also about creating a space that is nurturing, okay, nurturing place where children feel encouraged to explore and learn at their own pace. So this approach, okay, foster for their own self-reliance, which is a cornerstone of a lifelong learning. Okay, so what are the teacher's role in Montessori method? Okay, so one of the most remarkable aspect of Montessori approach is the freedom. Okay, teachers the freedom teachers provide to the children within a thoughtfully, okay, prepared environment. Okay, so this freedom will encourage for exploration and discovery, which a key learning, a key to learning. Okay. All right. So at the heart of Montessori education is the belief that the child should always be the central focus. So teachers strive to respect each child and their unique work, fostering a nurturing learning environment. Okay. Additionally, teachers in Montessori, okay, also a keen observer. Okay, so for a teacher, they will watch how children interact with their surrounding to ensure each children has the most supporting learning environment as possible. So this environment, okay, observing the child, teacher observe the child, okay, will help the teachers to tailor the environment, organizing learning materials to offer enriching experience for all the teachers, okay, for all the children. So in essence, okay, a Montessori teacher will act as a guide, creating a space where curiosity will lead to learning and independence. So this thoughtful preparation is very, very important in nurturing self-reliant and joyful learners. Okay. Now, moving on to Waldorf education. So, Waldorf education are founded by Rudolf Steiner. Okay, so Rudolf Steiner was a remarkable figure who contributed significantly to education. So, he was not only a philosopher and a scientist, but also educational theorist who founded this Waldorf education. So, Steiner philosophy is truly unique, whereby he saw human being as a blend of spirit, soul, and a body. So this perspective has shaped the foundation of world of education, okay, emphasizing that each aspect is integral to the development. So he divided human development into three stages, whereby early childhood, and also adolescence. Okay, so Steiner believed that these three stages are crucial for nurturing the capacities that fully unfolded in adulthood. Okay, so as we move forward, we will look deeper into how these philosophies can be translated into educational practice within the Waldorf school. So, as we all know, okay, Rudolf Steiner, whereby he was a very true visionary. Okay, he founded a school system based on anthroposophy, okay, a philosophy that beautifully integrate with science, okay, with spirituality lah, whereby he believed in the unity of the spirit, body, and mind, okay, viewing education as a tool for achieving balance among these three elements lah. Okay, and also Steiner has highlighted the first 7 years of life as a period of immense growth and transformation. So during this time, okay, the child soul and spirit will adapt to the new physical form, okay, which is a fascinating journey of a development lah. Okay, so a word of a school also places a strong emphasis on early education, particularly from birth until the age of 7, whereby he acknowledged that this is a crucial stage in the child's development journey. So it's a time when foundational growth will occur, okay, which will shape for the children futures. Okay. All right. So in this stage of child development, as mentioned earlier, okay, it's divided into three stages. Okay, early childhood learning. Okay. Elementary school and also adolescence. Okay, so Rudolf Steiner, okay, so he prioritized learning through direct experiences, observation, and also imitation. So means that children are encouraged to engage with their surrounding actively and learn by doing, okay, which is a very, very important aspect in this Waldorf approach lah. Okay, so not only that, all right. He also placed a very strong emphasis on artistic and imaginative expression. Okay, so this is very, very important because it helps to develop creativity and emotional depth within the children, which will allow them to explore abstract thought and develop conceptual judgment later on. So as children progress through the three stages of development, okay, which is early childhood, elementary school, and adolescent, each stage built upon the previous one. Okay, for instance, early childhood focuses on experiential learning, okay, where all the sensory experiences are the key, whereby elementary education will introduce more structured learning, while the adolescent is about fostering critical thinking and abstract reasoning. Okay, so by understanding all these three stages, we can actually appreciate how Waldorf education nurtures a balanced development of the spirit, soul, and body. Okay, now So as we explore more on the world of school, it is also very important for us to understand that this space, okay, um, are intentionally designed to feel like home lah. Okay, some of the characteristics of world of education. Okay, um, okay. So characteristic of world of education first. It acknowledge multiple intelligence lah, whereby it recognizing the diverse ways children learn. Okay, so this one of the most distinct practice in world of a school lah. Okay, and then another one, okay, another important element is eurythmy. Okay, eurythmy is basically a movement art, okay, that integrates with text, music, and role playing, whereby it helps to engage the whole child, mind, body, and spirit. And then finally, we have the spirituality. Okay, in world of education, whereby it inclusive lah, and embrace a wide range of traditions. Okay. Uh, so in early childhood Waldorf, early childhood education in Waldorf, all right, it purposely design, okay, the Waldorf to feel more like a home lah, okay, whereby outdoor play, okay, is the very important part in this Waldorf in this education approach lah, okay, whereby they foster for physical and sensory development. On top of that, a unique aspect of world of education is focusing on their oral language development. Okay, so through storytellings and imaginative play, right, such as world of doll, okay, children will engage in a rich creative experiences that enhance their communication skills. Okay, now let's look one by one on the world of stages. Okay, starting by stage one, which is the early childhood from birth until age of 7. So in this stage, okay, learning is about imitation and wonder. Okay, so it's all about imitation and creating sense of wonder lah. Okay, so you can imagine a classroom where the environment is thoughtfully prepared with colors, natural materials, and simple prop lah. Okay, so this setting are basically designed to encourage for imagination and creativity. Okay, and not only that, okay, teacher will prepare the learning environment with colors and natural materials, okay, and also simple props to encourage for their imagination. Okay, and also at this stage, right, children will develop their language skills not through written word but through rich oral storytelling, okay, and also active listening. So it's a vibrant tapestry of a sound and rhythm that actually engage in the children's mind, body, and spirits. And then finally, music and rhythm, okay, are also used in their daily learning activities, which can help to enhance the educational experiences and fostering a deep connection between children and the world around them. Okay, and then in stage two, which is the elementary educational phase, which cover the age of 7 to 14 years old. Okay, so at this stage, literacy and learning become very, very important. Okay, it becomes central during the first 2 years. Children will begin to develop their reading and writing skill, which is a key features in the continuity of learning environment. Okay, so students will remain with the same teachers and peers. Okay, having this consistency help to create a close knit community, which fostering for strong relationship and supportive learning environment. Okay, So, unlike traditional method, Waldorf education does not use textbook. Okay, so all learning is guided by teacher through listening and memory. So, this approach prioritize oral language and imaginative thinking, which will nurture creative in each child. Okay. And then in stage three, which is secondary education at the age around 14 to 21 years old, this is a period where students begin to unlock their abilities of abstract and rational thinking. Okay, so during this period, subject like ethics and social responsibility become part of the curriculum. Okay, so ethics and social responsibility are introduced along with more academic and also rigorous work. Okay, and then technology will also introduce. Okay, so technology will also be introduced into the classroom as a tool of enhanced learning. However, the core of Waldorf education will still remain strong with an emphasis of imagination, curiosity, and also the mind, body, and soul. Okay, so as a teacher, okay, they will continue to play a very important roles whereby they will continue to encourage childhood to wonder while at the same time focusing on the development of the heart, minds, and hands. Okay, so looking at the strategies of Waldorf teaching, okay, especially in early childhood education lah. Okay, greeting with care. Okay, so practice of greeting with care, whereby teacher will greet each student with probably a handshake, okay, to show genuine care and also respect. Okay, although it's a small gesture, but it will be able to show a genuine care and respect, which are laying the foundation for trusting relationship. Okay, next we have the buddy system. Okay, so this approach not only encourage for social connection among students, but also boost their self-esteem. Okay, so it's all about fostering a sense of belonging and support among peers. Okay, and then we have the art integration is another key strategist. So art isn't just subject; it is also a tools for understanding whether through gardening or outdoor activity, art can help to clarify concept and fuel creativity. And then finally, storytelling is also a powerful tool in the world of education. Okay, so it's used to develop children conceptual understanding and imagination, which will spark curiosity and wonder. Okay, now moving on to Reggio Emilia approach. So, Reggio Emilia School, first school was established, okay, in a small town in Italy right after the World War II. So imagine the resilience and vision of the parents who built the school themselves. Okay, it is a remarkable community effort. So Reggio Emilia approach was founded by Loris Malaguzzi, whereby he is a passionate local teacher, was instrumental in shaping the educational model lah. So Malaguzzi has introduced the idea of a rich child, which is a very important in the Reggio Emilia approach lah. So this concept celebrates the belief that each child is full of potential and has a wealth of knowledge and skill to contribute. Okay. So, as we continue further, please keep in mind how these foundational ideas set the stage for a unique and collaborative learning environment. Okay, so fundamental of Reggio Emilia approach. Okay, so the heart of this approach is the interrelationship. Okay, connecting life and learning in meaningful ways. So a Reggio teacher isn't just an instructor. So they will also be the guide facilitating children's exploration and discovery. Okay, think of environment as the third teacher. It's not just a backdrop, but also a vital participant in shaping experiences. So project are more than just assignment. They are also a long-term journey that drive the children discovery and also growth. Okay. On top of that, documentation in Reggio Emilia, it's not only about administrative. Okay, so documentation is also a reflective practice that help to capture and communicate the children's learning journey. So having documentation, okay, help both teachers and also children see the growth and learning that happening in a real time. Okay, so in Reggio Emilia approach, children are viewed as protagonists, collaborators, and communicators. So they are the active participant in their learning, not a passive recipient. Okay, so this active involvement will foster for deep sense of engagement and ownership over their educational journey. Okay, so we continue the principle of Reggio Emilia approach. Okay, the first is the image of the child, which is the central of this approach. Okay, so in this approach it views children not just a learner but also a capable individual brimming with potential. Okay, so we can think them as an eager contributor to the world, driven by their curiosity and imagination. So this perspective transforms how we engage with children. Okay, respect them as an active constructor of their own learning journey. Okay, so another key principle is emphasize on early infancy. Okay, so it seems as a critical period for exploration and engagement because during this time, children are incredibly receptive to the world around them. Okay, and Reggio Emilia approach capitalize on this by nurturing their natural inquisitiveness. Okay, so remember, each child has its unique way of seeing and interacting with the world, therefore encouraging their senses of wonder, okay, and imagination right from the very start is very important to their development. Okay, now we continue in expressive art as a learning tool. Okay, so expressive art, which also the central of this approach, okay, whereby children will express themselves through various arts like sculpture, dramatic play, shadow play, and also painting. So this kind of activity are not just fun but very very important for the children development of their linguistic, logical, and emotional skill, which will help foster creativity and imagination, which also are very important for their holistic development. Okay, and then finally, um, Reggio Emilia approach, okay, also place a great value on sensory experiences using a smell or sound to create pictorial representation. Okay, which is one way how this approach can integrate the senses into the learning. Okay, so it's all about engaging the whole child in the learning processes. Okay. And then next, let's look at the role of the teachers in Reggio Emilia. Okay, again, teachers are not just instructors, but they are also other researchers and guides. So this means they will spend a lot of time to observe each child closely because their goal is to understand the unique learning process in each child. Okay, another key roles of a teachers, okay, is to support children theories and hypotheses. Okay, so they will do this by encouraging children to engage in a project, okay, without strict timeline, allowing for natural exploration, okay, which will create a trusting relationship where children will feel safe and explore. Excuse me, where children will feel safe to explore and also to learn. Now let's continue to talk about community and parent school relationship in Reggio Emilia approach. So in Reggio Emilia approach, okay, it's not just about teachers and children who are active participants in the educational journey. However, parents are also deeply involved. So they will take part in observing and documenting their child's development. Okay, so this collaboration will create a fuller picture of each child's unique growth and learning processes. Okay, now another key element here is communication. Okay, open and ongoing communication between parents, teachers, and children are very important. It builds a strong network of support and foster a sense of ownership and pride in the child's education journey. More of parents are encouraged to volunteer and contribute directly to the school's environment. This not only enrich the learning setting but also strengthen the bond within the community. Okay. All right, so these are some example of Waldorf school. Okay, it's very homey look alike. Yeah, and that will be all for our unit this time. I shall be seeing you all on our next unit. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum. Bye.